welcome to Lessons in Excellence with the Chinese internet tycoon Jack Ma. I'm Shireen Ban. Well, he calls himself a blind man riding on the back of a blind tiger. He's gone on to create one of China's fastest growing business empires and an IPO that's second to only Google. Jack Ma, many thanks for joining us on CNBC-TV18. It is indeed a pleasure to have you on the show. Let me start by asking you about that quote of yours. You borrowed $2,000, I believe this was in about 1995. You knew nothing about personal computers or emails, and yet today you're the hottest Chinese tycoon, internet tycoon. How does this actually happen?
Well, it's just lucky. You have a great team and the right time and right internet time. I think I'm still worried, still thinking about someday if I go back, whether this thing will happen again. Because I was trained to be a high school English teacher.
I know.
And I learned English by myself when I was a kid. And I think internet is so new to everybody. So why not learn from the beginning? Because if you want to learn, if you want to focus, if you have a great team, and then you will make it happen. So I have more confidence now for the future. Because 10 years ago, when I started the Alibaba.com, I just thought, well, you know, it's so new to everybody. Why not we start from the beginning, learn?
But, you know, and I'm going to ask you this to sort of expand, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs who are going to be watching this show to understand how they take forward a business that they know nothing about. They don't understand the basics of it. They don't understand the principles of it. What was it to your mind that actually worked in your favor? Was it intuition? Was it your gut? What was telling you that this was something that you could capitalize and monetize on?
I said, internet is going to change the world, but nobody believed it. So I said, Bill Gates said, internet is going to change the
And
China.
then they believed you.
Then they believed. But
so it was the power of Bill Gates in that sense.
At that time, Bill Gates did not agree internet is going to change the world. But people used my quote, said Bill Gates said internet is going to change the world. But I know I said that. Second is that I think one of the reasons why we survived for the first 5-10 years was the 3 reasons which I said in Harvard Business School. People ask me why you survived after 10 years. The first, we did not have money. Second, we did not know the technology. Third, we never planned. And these are 3 principles which all against the Harvard business thinking.
That's why they say you shouldn't go and get yourself an MBA now, should you?
I applied for Harvard for 10 times. They rejected me, so I said, well,
they're going to be kicking themselves at this point.
Yeah, but the first, we did not have money. I borrowed $2,000. So every cent we use, we're very careful because we know that if we're not careful, we'll die tomorrow. And we found that a lot of internet companies die not because they don't have money, because they have too much money. And even today, we have so much cash, you know, billions of dollars cash. We still use every cent very carefully because we know if business only rely on cash, rely on money, that they don't need entrepreneurs.
Do you think this is what went wrong in the last couple of years when everybody was becoming part of this global party in that sense, launching companies, raising money? Do you think this is what really went wrong, that money became the objective as opposed to the means to an end?
Absolutely. One of the key reasons why this financial crisis happened, I believe, is the value system. Business people forget about the customer. They focus on cash, they focus on capital market, they focus on raising more money. Why you raise money? Running business, raising money is just like put gasoline in the car. When you have enough gasoline, you have to run. But people forget, well, I saw a lot of people waiting for the IPO market.
Yeah.
I think they're just like so many people waiting at the gas station. When they get the gas, they don't know where to go. Something wrong with it. So business, you always focus on the customers. So first I say the money is not important to a real entrepreneur. You have always to think different. And second is that we did not know anything about technology. Because I did not know anything about technology, I respect the people who know technology. We hire the best engineers to work in the company, listen to them. My engineers and I remember in the past 10 years, we never quarrel because we don't know how to quarrel. When they say this, well,
you listen.
I listen, but they listen to me. The key is where the business should go. And I told them 80% of the people in this world are like me, technology dummy. We love technology, but we're scared. We don't want to read the manual book.
Do you continue to be scared of technology, though?
Me too. Yeah. Till today, the only thing I can use my computer is send and receive email and browse. That's it. I even do not know how to watch.
Me too.
I believe the 80% of people there. So whatever the the softwares my engineers team made, I will be the first person and the last person to test the products. I don't want to read the manual book. I just want to click and get it. If the technology is good, but I cannot use it, forget it. I think 80% of people cannot use it. So we try to make our technology very simple, easy to use, like make 80% of people to understand the Alibaba.
Remember you said that Alibaba is 1,001 mistakes. We expanded too fast, and then in the dot-com bubble, we had to have layoffs. But by 2002, we had only had enough cash to survive for 18 months. What is the dilemma of growing too fast, too quickly? How do you balance growth with being judicious about it?
Well, today there are about more than 10 books writing about why Alibaba is successful, why this and why that, how great Jack Ma and his team are, but none of them I received any interviews, and none of them we authorized the right. They just a guess. But I think one of the books, if the only one book I want to write about is Alibaba 1,001 Mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes. But for example, one of the mistakes we made in year 2000 when we raised $5 million US. Yeah. We thought we are rich. Now we're gonna hire the great people, have a beautiful office building, and we start like any startups. When you have money, you start to make mistakes. Yeah. So I call myself at that time like we are a poor tractor, but we hire some great people to join the company, just like we have a tractor, but we try to get the Boeing 747 engine put into the tractor. Does not help the tractor, make the tractor, split into pieces. We moved to USA. When we have only $5 million US, we moved to USA. We made a budget for over $12 million US marketing, and because the people we hired are all professionals. They all graduated from MBAs. They talk greatly. They only talk. I mean, when they say, this is a strategy, this is where you go, where you listen, you feel excited. Yes, this is what Alibaba should go. But when you do, always wrong. So, like any startups, we made a lot of mistakes. But later we think, you have to survive. Survive, you have to be focused. You have the right people, not the best people, the right people for you. And the second thing is that no matter how tough the situation is, you always have the dream. You always have the first day dream, which I call first day love. It's always beautiful. You always, when the tough day comes, think about the first day dream. When the wonderful days come, think about the first day dream, because this is the dream you want to go, not today.
What's the #1 mistake that most startups make, to your mind?
I think most of these startups, the #1 mistake they have, that they always say, I don't have money. If I have money, I'm going to solve this problem.
It comes back to that, doesn't it?
But I think this world, we have never lack of money. We lack of the people who have the dreams and would die for their lives for this dream. And we difficult to find a team who believe the dreams, work together on this, and execute one, little by little, every day by every day. So people always have complaint. People who lose, who fail, always have a lot of excuses. Don't have money. I don't have people. I don't have technology.
People were thinking that this party was going to continue. People were still raising money. The markets were booming. You, at that point in time, said, stop, rethink, because I think things are going to go down from here on. What gave you the intuition? What made you think that the party was actually headed to going bust?
I think human beings are easily forget the mistakes. It's always easy to forget about the terrible days. When things are going good, they always think that it will be better. Last year, with the data Alibaba got, we found a lot of data, import-export from China, is declining. And second is that I met a lot of my customers, SMEs. They tell, Jack, we made a lot of money last year. I said, where did you make your money? Stock market. And then when I visit a lot of forums and meetings, conference, you see most of the speakers, they are the bankers. Yeah. They're telling people IPO, they're telling people raising more money, they're telling how many P you're going to make. Something wrong, because they leave the basic track of the business. Nobody tell us about create value for the customers. Nobody tell us how they should think about improving their products. Everybody's talking about
valuation. Everyone's talking.
And one of the things hit me was that one day there was a Chinese real estate company went public in Hong Kong, and everybody said, well, this company is going to be huge because they own that much of land. And if each piece of land times sort of the profit times P means the valuation.
Yeah, we saw that happen in India as well.
That reminds me year 2001, 2002. When Yahoo IPO'd, everybody said, wow, Yahoo is going to be a great company. You know, there are page views. Each page view times each cent of US times the 40% of P, 40 TP, it's going to be, that's the market cap. And then that was the story, bubble bursted.
Yeah.
And also when Alibaba go public, our stock, we start like 13.5. We only sell, we want to raise like 1.7 billion US dollars. But over $180 billion just want to get the shares, and over 550 billion Hong Kong dollars ready for buy the shares. And our stock go from $13.5 to $40 within 3 days without any reasons. And I know something wrong because people do not care where the substance of the business. They care about whether the stock will go up. People just think about the money. So we know something wrong. So we tell the people, tell our team, get ready for that. The second disaster is coming after internet bubble, even worse. So,
are you seeing signs of any sort of a recovery at this point in time, or do you think things are going to get a lot worse before they start to get better? Because there is hope. Everybody's talking about green shoots at this point in time. Are you seeing any green shoots? Are they visible to you at all?
In December, I visited one of the restaurants. And the owner of the restaurant is Alibaba member, and she asked me, Jack, you saw the crisis coming. Now tell us how long the crisis is going to last. And I tell her, about 6 months. She said, 6 months is going to shut? I said, yes, because you will get used to it. We all have to get used to it, this kind of environment. And now I see the economy is coming back. Because I strongly believe that last year, when the crisis come, every government, all the business, all the consumers will be united. We'll worry about if this road, too much traffic accident, this road, the government there, police there, everybody careful, it will be fine. So I think in the next 2 to 3 years, the world economy will be peaceful. Why the financial crisis came so seriously? Because nobody cared. Last 2 years, nobody cared. You know, the money, always talk about money, not customer, not market, not the real right things. I was a little bit disappointed early this year when the States, when I see a lot of, most of the American people, they watch TV waiting for Mr. Obama. What are you going to do for us?
The miracle man.
It reminds us like 30 years ago, Chinese people listen to the radio and say, what's government is going to do for us? I think they are losing American dreams. Okay. We need an American dreams. We need the Indian dreams, China dreams. We are lucky at this time. I always believe we are lucky people. When we are only 30 years old, 40 years old, we see this disaster, which maybe 100 years you will not see that. We're still young. We know how to overcome it. If we overcome it, we got another chance. I strongly believe 10 years later, there will be more better, more successful people, much more successful company will exist after this financial crisis. It's a great opportunity.
One email that you sent out to your employees warning them about the disaster and the financial crisis that was waiting to happen. The other thing that you actually did was also tell small and medium enterprises in China to focus on the domestic market as opposed to focusing on the export market. This has been one of the things that has driven the Chinese economy so far. But now you're actually asking them to look inwards as opposed to looking outwards. This is something that we're grappling with in India as well. What is the strategy? What is your message? What do you think needs to be done at this point in time to really capitalize on the domestic demand, and how should it be done?
I think in this world, there are two big markets. One is China, one is India. And China, all the business in the past 10 years, they just rely on the outside market.
Yeah.
They just want to rely on that. So I think it is time to think about domestic market. It is time to think about all the business, no matter you're small or big. You have to think about both doing export, import, and the domestic trading. We found many companies in Guangdong area dying because of this financial crisis, because they just don't know how to manufacture. They do not have the sales channel outside the world. So when the order from outside China is dying, they're dying because they don't know how to sell. So we encourage them to think about sell into domestic market. Only when they know how to do business, how to marketing, how to do the sales channels, then the business is a complete sales. Otherwise, just a factory. But those companies who are doing domestic trading, they have to think about a global market. If they do not do the global market, they do not do the global trend. What's the competition outside China? So this is what we said. Those companies only do exporting. Please think about domestic, because this is the essence of China economy.
The other thing that SMEs in India as well as in China have really banked on is the price advantage. So while small is beautiful, cheap is even more beautiful. But in that sense, how long can you actually hold on to that pricing edge? Do you not have to work up the value chain? Do you not have to innovate? How much would you put how much weightage would you actually give to innovation for an SME at this point in time as opposed to the price advantage?
No, I think that the price advantage, people think about it traditionally, the cheaper the better.
Yeah.
And people, SME love, especially manufacturers, love to compete on prices.
That's right.
I think that's silly. They were killing ourselves. Never ever compete on the prices. We should compete on the services, compete on innovation. Because of the internet, because of e-commerce, I think the world is going to moving from traditional B2C business to consumer to consumer to business. That means most of the manufacturer and IT should design for consumers. Last century, IT is designed for manufacturer.
That's right.
This century, IT is designed for consumers.
Right.
So which we believe is in the next 10 years is because all the SME has to use the technology to tailor-make their products to the consumers.
From a small startup to a medium enterprise and then to actually go public. And yours was an IPO that was only second to Google. You know, how does it change the complexion? How does it change the character? How does it change the philosophy of a startup when you finally go to the IPO market? What is your advice? What should the lessons actually be for startups who are looking at the IPO market and the IPO route?
Always believe your first daydream, and second, learn from the other people's failed mistakes instead of learn from the other people's success.
1001 in your case.
Yes. I think most of the people in this world, when they fail, they almost have the same reasons why they fail.
Right.
But for those people who are successful, there are various kinds of reasons to successful. You learn this, maybe there's another secret sauce there, you never know.
Yeah.
So I think we should learn from the other companies how they fail.
But what about actually dealing with a much bigger player than yourself? In your case, Yahoo. You know, very different cultures, very different worldviews, very different in size. How do you actually deal with doing a deal with someone who is 5 times, 10 times bigger than you? And this will be something that a lot of SMEs will be grappling with. How do you retain your own independent identity, your own culture, and yet do business with the big boys?
When I was when Alibaba was small, we never talked to business, the big business, because you are too small, right? Always. So if you want to do business with a big boss, let's make yourself either good or strong. I don't like the word big, because I hate the big, right?
You're getting there, aren't you? You're pretty big yourself now.
Small. I think big is a process. If the one book I want to write is Alibaba 1001 Mistake. The other book I want to share in the future, I want to write, if I could write, is how to make your company smaller.
Okay, as a believer, as a gatekeeper with the vision and the mission, what is the mission at this point in time? What is the vision? Where do you hope to take Alibaba from where it is? You've just completed 10 years. Where do you hope to go?
Well, last 10 years, we proved internet. We proved e-commerce work in China. Next 10 years, we want to tell the people that business society is also a very important factor to improve the society. We are not the company only care for profit. We are not the people just to care for the interest of profit. Business should be a part of the world. Improve the world. Take the responsibility by using internet, be more open, transparent, sharing, responsible, globalization.
Well, many thanks for joining us on CNBC TV18. Many thanks for believing that small is big, and we hope you continue to dream on. Thank you very much for joining us on Lessons in Excellence. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Shireen.
Well, with that, it's time for us to wrap up this special episode. We hope that you enjoyed watching Jack Ma, and hopefully there will be a book out one day on 1001 mistakes of
You love it.
I'm sure we love it. Many thanks indeed. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.